Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Authentic Woman You Are online series, third edition. And today we have Joyce van der Lely with us. Hi, Joyce.
Hello, and I'm so happy that you invited me. Thank you so much, Jennifer.
Yeah, you're welcome. We're switching roles. Last time I was on your summit, and now this time you're here. So, Joyce, let's go ahead and have you introduce yourself to our audience.
So I'm Joyce van der Lely. I'm originally from Holland in Europe, and I have been living in New Zealand since 1995. So this is basically my home. And I'm a mother of two highly creative teenagers. I'm a very multi-passionate creative myself. So my work that I do is also with creative entrepreneurs and other magical misfits. Those are the ones, the seekers, the curious, creative people that like to think outside of the box, don't want to be in a box, and struggle to find the right place in the world, really. Yeah.
I love how you're putting it. Let's weave right away with this, like out of the box and creative way of living. And I'm going to add owning up to our gifts and following our calling. And I would love us to align our conversation around this and starting with your own story of, like this rebel inside of you and this woman that always could see outside of the box. Like, when did this actually start for you? And when was this calling for deep authenticity and creative living really awakened for you in your life? Was there some moments that you want to share that triggered this transformation more?
Sure. So there's a big moment that triggered it or reawakened it, I rather like to say, because if I look back and if you look at children, as children, we are always curious. As children, we are always creative. We allow ourselves to be crazy, creative, courageous, everything is possible. And then somehow society and life and schools and everything just dulls us down. And I think I've always, I can see things. If I look back, I like to look forward, but if if I go back and remember things, I know that I've always been a bit rebellious, and I've always been this, it always has felt like a dance. I would conform for a little while and then not be happy, and then allow myself to be crazy and creative and wild and brave and all that, and go that way. And then sometimes I went a little bit overboard, and then my dad or a teacher or somebody would pull me back and go, Joyce, and then I would please again, please my father, or please the teacher, or please society, be the good girl. And so it's always been a little bit of this swaying between, but always having these dreams in my head, like there must be more for me, there must be more for me. And I was always searching for that. So inside, I've always stayed a little bit of a child, and, or a lot. And so after I moved to New Zealand, I think moving away from Europe, the place where I grew up, and immigrating to the other side of the world, really might have been one of my leaps into faith and see what would happen, because as I said, I was always looking for that thing. And if you ask me, what is that thing? I think it's just the realization of my dream, but also, and I recently talked about this with somebody else as well. I'm always curious to the next chapter of my life book, my book of my life. So I'm always curious what is going to happen next. I'm never like, oh, this is it, and okay, I will sit out my time or something. I'm always going, what will happen if I'm going to do this? What will happen if I go into, if I try that? So it's always exciting. And then, so when I lived in New Zealand and started to make my life here, in hindsight, I now realize that I sort of recreated this hamster wheel for myself again. Yes, I moved myself to the other side of the world in the hope for a better life, better quality of life, or in the pursuit of. And then somehow these old habits and these old same old things kept coming back, and I recreated a hamster wheel for myself. So again, I was, trying to escape and then come back, and there's always been this sort of zigzagging motion. And then the earthquakes happened, you know. On 2010, we actually just this week, we had the 10-year anniversary, which brought back, really strange, it brought back emotions and memories that I thought I had put aside, or I had, they were revived a little bit. Anyway, those earthquakes in 2010, 2011, and especially the ones from 2011, that day, that moment, that afternoon, I mean, that changed everything for me. Like I suddenly realized, I don't know, it heightened, it awakened all my senses. When everything started falling apart around me and I had to make my way home on foot, because I couldn't get to my car, it was in a parking garage, all that, I was in the center of town. It was 15 kilometers walk. I don't even know. I never looked at my watch. I never know. I don't know how long it took me. I don't think it was important. There were a lot of thoughts that went through my head. A lot of the things I had survived, obviously, as I was walking home. And, but I was also there were also things like, suddenly it's like, what is important? It's important to be alive. It's important to be around the ones that you love. It's important to do the things that still give you light.
It was a wake-up call for you. It was this wake-up call for you, and put things into perspective.
Yeah. And I remember, so this 10-year anniversary, I suddenly, because of course a lot of people were talking and revisiting memories and stuff, and also with my friends, we realized that each of us really didn't know exactly 100% what our personal story was. So we exchanged a little bit our personal experiences and stories, because afterwards we were also busy to stay calm and collected and survive, that we didn't really sit down and share our stories completely.
And how did this?
We knew where we were, sort of, but not exactly how we experienced it.
Yeah, and how did this event, after the wake-up call, how did it propel you on, like, really this your calling? Like making you realize that time is precious, that energy is precious, and that you actually want to be of service to people with your gifts. Was this a transition point with this wake up that you started creating?
Yeah.
Yes. And like, I know creativity is a huge part of the services that you offer. So, I mean, in your body, creative expression, where do you go in your body to ignite this creativity? Because creativity is not something that comes from the mind. So what would you say about creativity and where it stems from in the body?
So for me, creativity, I always go with my hands to my gut area, like, that is where I think the womb area, that is for a lot of women, you can relate, that is where you feel when you're anxious, that's where you feel it when you're happy, that's also where I believe we connect with our creative source. Creativity can be expressed in so many different ways. I've always used my creativity to express my emotions or release my emotions and my thoughts, my worries, my happy things, all those are always expressed through creativity. I feel it when I don't have time to be able to create and to express my feelings. I feel that, I get irritable. And so after the earthquakes, I've always used it. So I intuitively use that as well. When the women that I knew around me realized that, they said, like, Joyce, how is it that you stay so calm and you don't even have your family support here? You guys are
Mm.
all alone, you know, it's just the four of us as a small family. And I said, well, I do this. And I showed them what I did to release and, you know, my tensions. And they said, wow, um, can you show me? And I said, sure, you know. So I started sharing how I did things, and I noticed that if I showed others what I was doing, and then they applied it in their own way for themselves, it
Mm.
helped them as well. It's like a medicine, you know. It's my medicine, and others can enjoy the same from it. So
Yeah.
that is when I started. I thought, wow, this is amazing, because I always want to be free and
Mm.
independent in myself. And this is a way that you can free your mind, you know, you can feel so much more freedom when you have an outlet, whether it's visual art or movement or writing, or, you know, so you can write journal writing, you
So
can
your
paint, you can
calling,
dance. Yeah.
your calling came really through like your experience. It's not something that you chose from the mind, but it's something that was shown to you as a tool, and then now you are offering spaces for people
Yeah.
to express, to allow their creative flow to circulate in themselves, and to also
Hmm.
create structures of their own, right? Because you do accompany
Yeah.
entrepreneurs to receive abundance, right?
Yes, yes. Because so for me, it's all connected. I
Yes.
believe that I mean, you can be, maybe there are, but, you know, for me, I'm a sensitive, I'm an empath, I'm a woman, you know, and I have my entrepreneur, my business.
Yes.
So to run a business as a creative, when there's so much feeling and emotion involved, it is
Mhm.
sometimes difficult to stay the track, you know. We are not like, and very much according to strategies and rules, and it's a different way of running a business. And that's why a lot of creatives get stuck, because they don't see how it is possible. And a lot of most people will always say that creatives cannot do that, you know, because we are too dreamy, you know, we are too focused, we're too much in our dreamy world and our in our creative inspirational
Mm.
realm, to be able to do the thing that you need to do for to run a business. And I don't
Mhm.
agree, you know. I think
So
there are ways.
what's your
Yeah.
cue? What's your cue for those empaths, creative, sensitive, who are like can really get taken by emotions and scattered sometimes in their dreams? What is your cue to
Yes.
be able to sustain an abundant business and use that creative flow in a grounded way? So to build something.
So the first thing is to really understand yourself.
Mhm.
If you take time, if you allow yourself time to really understand and make that connection, and really understand yourself. So there's a lot of inner work, because when you understand yourself and how you react to things and how your rhythm goes, because it's also like everybody has a different rhythm, and how
Mhm.
your rhythm goes, and what your points are, where you are extremely productive, and where there are points where you need time to reflect, and time, you know, resting time. If you understand those things, then you can build your whole strategy and your whole business plan around it. It is just that when you start listening to the outside world and all their rules, and you should be doing this, and this is how
Mhm.
you do it, and no, there's no other way, then you start to feel insecure and uncertain, and because they are the business people, then it's like, oh yeah, of course it has to be that, but then it doesn't feel aligned. And
Yes.
because of that, there's all this struggle, and then you get friction, and then you get that, you know, that imbalance within yourself, the doubt, and the cry for help, my creative voice, you know, but I really want to get out here.
Yeah.
And then the other ones, you know, you get this internal fight. So we need to create space. I believe we need to create space, and connect with our inner values, our inner core self, and understand, find that true understanding. When you do that, there comes so much more clarity. And when you have that, you can find this inner calm. When you have inner calm, it's like
Mm.
a stable foundation of a building. whatever happens, you stay strong, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Then you can create whatever dream, whatever business you want, because whatever happens around you, it's and this is, you know, like my little meditation that I wanted to share later. It's like a tree with roots in the ground, you know, a tree that is firmly rooted. There can be wind around it and the tree will sway, but it still stays in its place. So when you find calm and understanding brings calm, and there you can build courage to
Mm-hmm.
take the next step. And then when you when you take a step and it works, you grow your confidence, you know. So it
Yes.
goes together. It goes together, but there's a lot of inner work for creatives to do that. And because we are often in our creative process, we are expressing, so we are basically going outwards. It's
Yeah.
like expressing. This time you need to go, and I like to do, you know, that infinite symbol where
Mm-hmm.
it goes continuous. It's infinite. It goes like that, you know.
Yeah.
um, that's really how it goes. Like if you go inside and you understand, then you can express more clearly. You understand, so you can
Mm-hmm.
express yourself more clearly. Then your message also becomes more clearly for others, you know. Yeah, it's like that. It's like
Yes. I love
ebb
that.
and flow. Yeah,
I love
yeah.
that you're explaining the principles, and it's that also that it's not about following just strategies and putting ourselves in another box
Mm,
of have to do's and to do lists, but being creative. It's about following a flow of authenticity and really
yeah.
feeling in, is this aligned or not? Is this calling from my higher self? Is this calling from an, this intuition and this really life pulse? Or is it actually coming from my mind and wanting to get somewhere, right? And
Hmm,
there's really a
hmm.
different quality in the work that is brought when we choose
Mm,
from the body and the wisdom and the knowing versus a strategy and just going for results. Now that we're speaking about entrepreneurship,
mhm.
right? And creativity is
Yeah.
such a key
I,
word.
I like how you said, you know, the thing that our mind says, we want to get somewhere. You want to get this. You want to get that. It's not about that, you know. The getting, the receiving.
Mhm.
It's not like I'm gonna get there. I'm gonna get this. It's like, how do I how do I reach that point and receive what is there for me? It's more gentle. It's more gentle. It's like that flow. And
Mhm.
the moment when we start, I always try to be wary also of the words I use so that they feel better. I like to use positive words rather than negative words. I like to try and describe things in maybe more poetic ways. I don't know, but
Mhm.
it just feels more gentle and it feels like there's more possible and um, it's not so forced. Yeah.
Yes.
Mm.
Yes, the receptivity, and we are, in a summit where the authenticity of the feminine that's both in the man and in the women, but this quality of having an intention, and seeds are planted, but then it's this receptivity of when it unfolds, then it's that
Hmm.
step. There's nothing really to force, right? It's
Yeah.
it comes, and it's a matter of seeing it and saying yes, and then the
Yeah.
next step gets revealed when we want this creative way of doing business or organic way of doing business. And would you agree with that?
And that's exciting, you know, and that's
Yes.
exciting to see what comes next, you know. That's where your curiosity then gets, gets its satisfaction. Like, oh, what's going to be next, you know? Yeah, and then you're excited
Yes.
again about the next step. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and it requires also this resilience and like the fear of the unknown, right? So many
Mm.
are scared of the unknown, but in the unknown there's this excitement that you're talking about of. It's
Hmm.
always this blank page of like, okay, I'm really following through the thread and I'm receiving the guidance.
Yeah.
And it is exciting, the unknown, but I know it
Hmm.
can be challenging, right? It's not always easy, right?
Yes. No, but that is the training. That's how that's that inner work. It doesn't mean that I'm never scared, you know. Please don't think I'm never scared or anything like that. It's just that I recognize more quickly when I do feel scared, or when I do feel resistance, or when I do, I go like, oh, yeah, I just recognize it more quickly.
Yeah.
And then I know how to guide myself through it so that I get through it more easily and more quickly as well. Mm.
Yeah. How to get, yeah.
It never goes away. It never goes away. Hey.
Totally. Is there something you want to share about the Artemis?
So the Artemist is actually the name. The Artemist, I combined art because I'm an artist and I love expressing in visual ways. I'm mostly a visual artist. Then I'm really interested in this alchemy, weaving things together. I always love to, I always say we're multi-layered beings, and we have all our senses are part of us. So if we can find ways to weave our superpowers together, our interests together, our everything, our senses together, if we can weave that all together, we can create magic. So that's that alchemy, when you don't just do one thing, but you put things together in a pot and it mixes, or you weave it like a beautiful weave. And then Artemis, the goddess. So this whole, I got this name in a dream last year. I was looking for something that would be that could describe a little bit of how I felt the work I was doing, because there's inner work. So it's the connection with your inner goddess-like power, through creativity, through art, and then this alchemy. So I combined, this word came to me. In the morning I woke up, I thought, oh, the Artemis, that sounds interesting, and that sounds like this weaving, this blending that I always talk about and that I always love to incorporate in my work. So so that's how the Artemis was born. And I kind of like the sound of it too.
And I love the weaving of energy, like working with those subtle energies and being aware, like this expanded awareness. I know you have an interactive experience for us. Yes.
So when I create, a lot of people that are journaling or that are visual journalers, they will know that it's really nice to work with a prompt or a start of a story. So I like, my art journaling is really me illustrating my life away, really. And I write things down, I draw things, I layer the experience of that moment together in my art journals. And so often there is something that prompts my creation, It's either a feeling of sadness or an experience or something I saw, or perhaps a song that I heard and that really made me happy, things like that. So there's a prompt that starts me. So what I thought I share is a little guided meditation or a guided journey that can start, that you can use as a prompt to start your journaling or your thoughts. Maybe you just want to sit there and listen and think, and that is cool too. But maybe this will help you start something, creating something as well. So we start with closing our eyes and taking 3 deep breaths in and out. So you start, close your eyes and take a deep breath in and out. And in and out. One more time. In and out. And now I like you to imagine that you're standing in an open space. You're outside. It's the end of the afternoon and the sun is slowly setting. There's a freshness in the air. You can almost taste it. And a little bit further along, you see a group of trees. You love trees. So you walk over there And when you get closer, you can see the strong trunks of the trees with their rough bark. You touch the bark. It feels rough and smooth at the same time. You decide to sit down and lean your back against this majestic tree. And as you're leaning back, you look up through the branches. The sun peeks through these little gaps between the branches and it plays on your skin. It's a good feeling. You watch this play between the light and the dark silhouette of the branches for a while, and you slowly drift off into your inner thoughts. You feel like you're merging with the tree where you're sitting. You feel like you're connecting deeply with Mother Earth. You melt, you blend together. And as you feel this and you sink into this feeling of oneness and wholeness, you follow the roots of the tree down deep, down, 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 deeper and deeper and deeper. And at some point, they touch other roots, and you follow those until you emerge on the other side of the globe. And you see this figure leaning back against that tree, watching the sun rise, because of course, on that side of the globe, the day is just starting. So you look at this person. Is it another? Is it you? You sit there for a little while enjoying the rising sun, but remember that you were watching this beautiful sunset. So you make your way back and come back to the place where you started this beautiful daydream. You watch through these branches and the sky changes color. It changes into a beautiful peachy orange and pinkish purple. It's like a painter's palette. The branches connect. The neighboring trees are growing in different directions, but they touch, they connect. And you watch this, you enjoy this. Again, this play between the contrast between the dark and the light. There's always this energy between the opposites, this energy that takes you on rides and possibilities, and it energizes you. So after a while, you decide to take the last moments of daylight and make your way home. When you get in, you open your journal and you start to write down your experience of journeying and realizing that no matter what direction these branches are growing, every tree, every being is unique and authentic. And still, when it comes down to the roots, they remain all one. We are all connected. Everything is all connected. And you realize this now. It awakened these senses within you that every beautiful, different being on this planet is all connected. And you start to express these feelings into your journal. You can write, you can paint and sketch, you can pick up your guitar and play a few tunes, you can even just dance and feel this flowy motion, this energy ripple through you. It fills you with joy, it fills you with energy to do more, because you feel now that there is more, because we're all connected. It amplifies you, it amplifies everybody that it touches. So I hope that this little prompt, this little journey helps you make a start of an expression, that you can start remembering little things by making sacred containers of memories and experiences that you have. Feel free to express yourself authentically, just the way you choose to, because that is purely you, and it adds to the experience of others, because again, we are all connected. Now you can open your eyes again and start expressing yourself fully.
Thank you, Joyce. Beautiful journey.
It's just a little, little daydream-like things that can help you make a start. And then you can take it as far as you like. Yeah.
Awesome. And you have a free gift also for our audience. Would you like to introduce it?
Yes. Do you have the link?
I have, yeah, I'll be putting the link underneath the video, and it will be in the email also. Yes, of course.
Awesome. Yeah. So I think it's theartemis.com//the-gift. It is 5 easy ways to make a start in creating calm, confidence, courage within yourself, so you can more confidently step into your next level and make your, follow your journey to achieve your dreams. Because that is what it's always all about for me, is finding a way to achieve your dreams with personal freedom and independence and in your own way. So this will help you start. Yeah.
Awesome. So yes, go ahead, grab your free gift, Joyce. I'm sure it's a wonderful transmission you have for us in that gift. So the link is down the video. It's in the email, and enjoy it. And thank you again so much, Joyce, for showing up, for being here with us. And everybody, thanks for being on this series. And I will see you in the next episode, the next interview.
Jennifer, thank you so much. And everybody that tuned in, thank you for your time and being here with us. Yeah, thanks so much. Yeah.